Hi, I'm Dee, and you might know me from my offshore racing adventures. But for this 6-part video series, I'm switching gears and cruising the beautiful waters of Croatia with the RYA and Sunsail. So let's get started. In my career, I've seen the raw power of the ocean. I've also seen its fragility. Out in the Southern Ocean, you're hyper aware of your footprint because your life depends on your resources. But here in the stunning waters of Croatia, it's a different kind of awareness. We come here for the beauty, the hidden coves, the archipelago, and the impossibly clear water. But how do we ensure it stays this way? In this episode, we're diving into the environment. I'm meeting with Sunsail to understand the challenges this coastline faces, from the secret life of seagrass to the wildlife that calls these islands home. This isn't about leaving no trace, it's about how we as sailors can become guardians of the places we love. This is the Green Horizon. So we've just tied off on the town quay in Grad, which means old town, and I'm now going to the summer residence of Pektor Hektorovic, where I'm going to meet Arnella from Sunsail and learn more about the challenges of the ecosystem that Croatia faces. Tell me, what are the challenges, the environmental challenges that Croatia's facing?
So there are many.
Yeah.
There are many. When we talk about whole Croatia, Adriatic Sea is half closed, very shallow sea. So there is a great threat of pollution. It's not just sea-based, but also land-based. So every year there are more and more boats here. There is pollution coming from the land, and we don't have that much monitoring, that much control what is happening over the whole area. And we are part of Mediterranean Sea, which is actually washing the shores of so many different countries. It's very challenging to keep it healthy and, let's say, nice for future generations.
Yeah, and as sailors coming to the region, I mean, 1,200 islands, it's a stunning location, lots of great sailing for us. But actually, what do they need to understand when they're here in this environment?
Many people now talk about all these trends about sustainability, but I think sometimes it's just looking back. When I think about the history of and the culture of sailing that we have in Croatia, all these people that sailed long time ago, they were the first trendsetters for sustainability. You know, they had to behave in a way so they save resources, to fix what needs to be fixed, to actually see the limits that nature gives us. There's so much going on. If we talk about nautical industry, that's anti-fouling, this copper paint that you put on the bottom of a boat, boat discharges, plastics, microplastics, sunscreens. So there are plenty of things which are actually affecting marine life.
When we're in Croatia, what kind of wildlife are we expecting to see? Where do we see it and how do we see it?
Sometimes you will see dolphins, sometimes you will see turtles, many different beautiful creatures, shells, and if you go diving. But I think it's important just not to get too close and not to stand on their way or not to stand behind because they will think that you're chasing them. So it's always important to slow, not to be in a full speed and at least 100 meters away.
And we talk about mammals, but let's talk about vegetation because seagrass seems to be a very topical name to throw around. Like, talk to me about seagrass, educate me about seagrass.
Okay, so there was a picture of Amazonian woods and seagrass, Posidonia, and below there was a title, Ugly Sister, because everyone is thinking about Amazon forest like something really beautiful, and when you talk about Posidonia, like it's just seagrass, you know, no one wants to touch it or something, but actually it produces as much as oxygen as Amazonian forest. So it's very, very valuable. It's endemic to Mediterranean, and it's helping us in this climate changes processes a lot. But we are endangering it a lot. Not just by anchoring. Everyone is thinking it's just anchoring. It is a lot, but it's also these boats are being washed every week, and of course everyone wants to give clean boats to the tourists. Very often aggressive products are being used. More and more they are now pushed by EU, these products which have different certificates, but that just means they are biodegradable. It still doesn't mean they are not toxic.
Yeah.
Usually they are biodegradable in 100 days. But if there is a mammal there in those 100 days, then it's still not good. But there are many, many initiatives now all over Mediterranean, here in Croatia also, to save Posidonia, because yeah, everyone else knows it's like lungs of the sea.
Yeah, no, but when you
Yeah.
think about that, and every time you then enter an anchorage, you do have to think differently of actually, am I prepared to damage the lungs of the sea?
Yeah, we always say try to find sandy bottom.
Yeah.
Try to avoid dark blue or even green one, because it's not just damaging Posidonia as a plant, let's say, you're damaging someone's habitat. You know, there are many different creatures living there. I know it's not very popular to say nowadays, but try to be minimalistic as possible. We need to think about what we are taking with ourselves. Try not to take a lot of plastics. Try to buy in bulk. Think about cosmetics which you are using, sunscreens, cleaning products. We want to do things differently because it's very different when you're on vacation. Your mind is somewhere else. You just want to enjoy. So you really need to be reminded, and this is what we are doing all the time, just reminding. And people appreciate this, and this is the best thing.
Yeah. Well, I say thank you and keep up all the good work. Whether you're cruising here in Croatia or back home in the UK, small choices really do make a difference. The RYA's Green Blue programme is packed with simple, practical advice to help us protect the waters we all love to sail on, from reducing pollution and respecting wildlife to making more sustainable choices on board. And it's great to see companies like Sunsail making sustainability part of their journey too. Through the Ocean Promise, they're working to reduce waste, protect marine environments, support local communities and encourage more responsible sailing. It all comes back to that same idea. If we all just do our bit, we can help keep these incredible places just as special for everyone who sails here next. Ornella's insights are a good reminder that we can't take these beautiful waters for granted, and that even small actions can make a difference. Her comments about the habits of sailors of the past, repairing what they could, wasting little and living with less, show that sometimes the simplest approach is the best one. Being a good sailor doesn't have to be complicated, so here are a few things I try to keep in mind when I'm out on the water. Oh, that moment when you turn the engine off just feels lovely, so don't be afraid to sail. And actually, the more you sail, even into the bays, and the less you use your engine, is actually better for the marine life, and it saves your carbon footprint. I've stopped off at this beautiful bay, and it is lovely to really just sit and enjoy the nature here. And it's a real contrast to the buzz and the hype of being in the town and visiting a shore. But it's a reminder of how important it is to change out your toiletries, your washing products, and especially your sunscreen to marine safe certified products. The problem with SPF is it runs off, and anything that goes in the water then bleaches the coral and damages the seagrass. So you really need to consider these options when you're packing. Listen, quiet electric propulsion, how cool is that? And you're in a position to check your charter company to see what they provide. No smells, no pollution, and super quiet, which is really good for the marine life. If you're coming ashore to go for a walk and explore some of the island, don't be afraid to take a bag. What happens on these islands, on the windward side, we get a lot of debris and waste wash up. So if you have the opportunity to pick up that rubbish, it's always appreciated, and you've done your bit for the environmental challenges faced in Croatia. When I've gone on charter holidays in the past, I always think about staying hydrated. It's so important when you're on holiday and in the sunshine and out on the water every day. I carry my reusable bottle and I want to fill it up. So think bulk buy, don't think little bottles, get a big quantity so you can refill your bottle easily. And even better, nowadays you can check with your charter company to see if they fit a filter so you can drink straight from the tap. We spent the day looking at what the environment needs from us, but honestly, it's amazing what the environment gives back. After weeks of having a racing brain, just sitting here watching the light change on the water, it's a reset button for the soul. It was really interesting to be out on the sea, be away from land as we crossed island to island, and then come into the lush greenness of the island and just realise the impact that nature has and the challenges that it's facing and how lucky I am to be in this environment. I mean, I love what I do, but to be able to share it with other people, and you see the power of being with nature on the water and then the impact that has on the land as well. So I kind of feel in a really positive headspace. A few days of cruising and I've started to unwind a little bit. Croatia's coastline isn't just beautiful, it's ancient. These places may look timeless, but their stories stretch back thousands of years. So let's step off the boat and step into history.